My name's David Riggs. I'm the founder of Pneuma Media, and you can catch me on this week's episode of The Jesse T Show.
So for the Gary Vee thing, in my mind, you talk about how, for what you said in terms of like basically double down your strengths and punt your weaknesses. And that's something that I've heard him preach through the years. And, for the most part, that's extremely correct, especially in business, right? Like if you're a master at something and you're amazing at something, like stay in that lane. And if you know that you're not amazing at something, when it comes to time and money that you have to perform, it's a lot better and makes a lot more sense to hire and sub that stuff out. Because the time it takes for you that you could be focusing on the thing that you're amazing at to learn something where you might be decent at it, you have these experts out there that are already humming and ready to go. You could just already pivot to them. And like you said, what was really smart that I liked what you said was you have this person that already has 15 other people he's working with, and he gets so much information and world experience that then he could come and add more value to you because he has that experience. So I think that's beautiful. And I think, for me personally, in my personal life, not with business, there's things that I want to work on that I suck at, like singing. I want to get better at singing, and I want to get better at photography, and I want to get better at, all these different things. But like when it comes to business, time is money, and you have to focus on what you're good at. And so I love that. And then the other piece you mentioned was sales. And so you said you love closing the deal and that you love like kind of the thrill of that yes. Where did you get your sales acumen? Because most people don't have that ability. You might have a natural gift with people. You might have a natural conversational style, but there's an art to closing, and there's an art to a sale. There's an art to follow up. There's an art to prospecting. Like there's a lot of skills that you don't just have. You have to develop them. So where did that come from for you to where you got to a point that you loved that piece of the business and you found out that was a strength?
Yeah. And I think I was bad at it at first. The people that I ended up closing were the people that I probably pitched 60 to 70% of what other people were pitching. And I closed on the sheer will of I was the cheapest option, and they were happy with potentially getting something close to what they wanted.
Yeah.
But I think as it's gone on, right, it's understanding a couple things. And I think one of the biggest things is that typically a yes or no is never about price. It's always about the way that you articulate the value that you're bringing to the table.
100%.
So, if I go in and pitch a $10,000 website to a $100,000 website, I would argue I probably have a better chance of landing the $100,000 website because I'm going to go into that pitch the most prepared I've ever been in my life. I'm going to know every objection. I'm going to know how to handle every single objection. And I'm going to go in there and state the value. But the other thing is, if I can book a meeting with somebody that knows I'm about to pitch them 100K, I must have done something right in step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 to lead up to that final meeting. But I think that's where, we get really interested in like, how do people price, especially agencies, which is a whole nother, we could write a book on this and do 6 hours on agency pricing and why it's just a black box of information. But something I realized early on is the fact that as a 20-year-old, if I'm going to win deals, I have to be radically different just to get myself through the door and catch the attention of people that are going to make decisions. And what I started doing is the fact that, other agencies, I would go in there and I'd be like the third or fourth to pitch for a website. I'd be like, look, be honest, what are other agencies pitching you? I'd hear the 15 to 20 to 25K for a website. And I'm like, look, to be honest, and to be very honest, like this website probably requires $11,000 of work. Here is exactly how I would break that down in the back end. And, I'd send over a spreadsheet or like a Google Doc table and be like, 30% goes here, 20% goes here, 50% goes here. And then I'd even add in like, this is 45% is our profit margin. And I'm including that to be transparently honest. Like, I think quickly what I realized is the fact that there is no honesty in sales, whether it comes to an agency. And I don't know if you see it in your side of the world as well, but people will go in there and they'll just attach a number. But they're, if they're going to go pitch a Fortune 100 company, they're going to look, see their financials, guess what their budget is. Okay, typically this was $1,000. We're going to make it 10,000 because I know they have the money to spend. And I think that's where, one, you lead with sales with honesty and you just pitch up front. But, the quicker that you can be blunt with your prospect, the more likely they're going to be blunt with you and you actually have a real conversation. But two, I think the quickest thing I realized and the most important is that it's never about price. 1% of the time it's about price. Someone literally may not be able to afford it because they have a strict budget. There are ways to handle that. But 9 times out of 10, it's the fact that you prospected correctly, you qualified correctly, you really warmed them up as a lead. That phone call should be probably the easiest part of your day. And it should be, you've done the right steps in order. it's a close and it's a quick 20-minute call and things should be good. So I think understanding as well, I'm definitely a systems person. So I like having the structure. And I think that earlier that I learned the structure, this is how I was going to handle every single sales cadence from first touch point in the buyer's journey to sending an invoice. The less I had to think about the system, the more I could think about the prospect, which was helpful as well.